Your business stops growing the moment you stop working. You didn't build a business, you built a job. And here's the crazy part. Most entrepreneurs don't realize that this is actually a problem until it's way too late. You're working more than ever, thinking that hard work and more hustle is the problem, but the business still isn't growing. Sound familiar? The problem isn't your marketing, it's not your leads, it's not your people, and it's not your work ethic. The real problem is something every founder does by accident. You build yourself into the center of the business. On this video, I'm going to show you the simple shift that fixes that so that you can build the business of your dreams, so that you can build a business that runs without you, so that you can earn more, work less, and have way more fun. I'm also going to give you the framework to replace yourself in every facet of your business and the right way to do that, because if you screw it up and do it in the wrong order, more things will actually break and you'll go backwards instead of forwards. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Danny and I've built multiple businesses where most of the work is done by others, my team, and the business is based on systems and leverage. I spend most of my time on vision, strategy, and things that I personally love to do. But it didn't start out that way. In fact, when I started as an entrepreneur, a long time ago now, I didn't want to trade time for money. And so I thought that starting my own business was the answer. But of course, even though I had gone to law school and MBA school, I did not understand that the business should not be built around me. And so in the beginning, I did everything. I started a real estate brokerage and I was answering emails and showing properties to clients and doing the listing appointments. So I was doing all of the functions of the business myself. And guess what? The business grew and we were making more money and I was making more money. But with that more money meant I had to work more in order to keep that growing. And so in essence, what I had done is built myself into the middle and the center of the business. Everything relied on me and nothing happened if I wasn't working. If I wasn't going on appointments and client meetings, then sales weren't happening. If I wasn't answering emails and doing things like that, then the admin work and the fulfillment, none of that stuff was going on. And so I quickly realized that this is a big problem. My business is not going to grow if I keep it doing this way. That made no sense. If I keep doing it this way. That's what I meant to say. And so I call this the founder bottleneck problem. It happens to most small businesses. And the reason is actually not your fault. It happens because when you started your business, much like me, you probably were doing everything yourself. Maybe you couldn't hire help or you just didn't know how to do that. And so you were in charge of everything. And it's not easy to switch that to someone else doing it if it started out with you being in the middle. This is the founder bottleneck problem. And ultimately, every single founder and business owner will hit a wall. One of my mentors used to say, hard work is not scalable. I love that quote because we all have the same amount of time in the day. And so even if you're someone who listens to the hustle gurus, wakes up at 3 a.m. and works 18 or 20-hour days, there's only so much time to do everything that needs to be done in the business. And so you might be thinking, what is the answer to this problem? Well, let me share something really fun with you. The first thing we have to do is make a mindset shift. We got to shift from operator to owner of the business. And we have to think like an owner. And you always got to ask yourself, hey, if I were the owner of this business and not the operator in everything, what would I do? What would my decisions look like? What would my day look like if I were the owner and not the operator? And so instead of thinking in terms of working harder and putting in more hours and things like that, you have to think in terms of building systems and adding leverage to the business. Hey, quick interruption. If you want to scale your business fast, if you want to earn more money, work less, and have way more fun, I want to invite you to book a call with my team. We will go over exactly where your pain points are, what's keeping you up at night, how we can install the right systems and the right leverage with an amazing pre-vetted, highly trained virtual assistant, super cost effective, that's going to allow you to build that business without you, as you're hearing about on this video. Book a game plan call by following the link down in the description, and I'll see you on there. All right, back to the video. Now, there are 3 types of leverage that you can add to any business. Number 1 is capital. You can infuse money, you can buy ads, you can do things like that in order to generate more business. Number 2 is people leverage, so you can add employees and things like that. But again, just hiring people without actually having number 3 is not going to help you. And number 3 on that note is systems. Systems are actually at the core of everything to get away from the founder bottleneck problem, because having the right systems will actually allow you to hire people into those systems, and having the right systems will allow you to infuse capital into the business and turn $1 into 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 with your return on your capital spend. So I know I mentioned systems as number 3, but I think it should actually be number 1 on the list, because it is the most important thing you need to do. And when you understand that concept, you can actually begin elevating on the replacement leverage ladder. This is one of my favorite concepts in business. Also, too bad I didn't learn that in law school or business school. But the replacement leverage ladder says that you should start replacing yourself and taking yourself out of tasks in a certain order. If you do it out of order and you jumble it up, what will happen is that things will break in your business, and you may have experienced that already. So what is the replacement leverage ladder? Well, the first thing you need to replace is your admin work. If you're still spending a lot of time and money and effort and energy doing admin work like emails and voicemails and scheduling and things like that, you got to get yourself out of that first. That is the first key thing that you want to do. The second thing is fulfillment. So you want to get yourself out of all of the fulfillment of the business. That's actually fulfilling on the product or service that you offer. Number 3 is marketing. And so marketing you want to get yourself out of so that you're not actually doing the social media and the email and the CRM and all that stuff. Number 4 is, of course, sales, right? So you're doing all this marketing and all the leads start coming in. Well, you got to replace yourself in the sales aspect, because if you're still responsible for sales at the end of the day and they don't happen without you, then guess what? You're never really free from doing everything in your business. And number 5 in the replacement leverage ladder is leadership. And leadership is usually the last thing that a founder will replace, but that frees you up to be the visionary, to maybe be the chairman of the board, to set the direction of the company, while others actually execute and implement on those things for you. So your mission is to find out, hey, where am I on this leverage replacement ladder? Have I replaced anything? Do I have systems for all of those things? And by the way, just having an employee, let's say, as an executive assistant, but when you don't have systems, does not solve the problem. Every department, everything in the business must operate on systems in order to be effective and efficient. So your mission is to find out, hey, where are you on this replacement leverage ladder, and how do you move up into the next step or the next stage of that replacement leverage ladder? So at the end of the day, the reason that most businesses fail or they can't scale past that natural ceiling is not because of a lack of effort from the founder or from the people working at the company. It's not because you're not smart. It's not because you're not doing things right. It's simply because you built the business around you instead of around systems. When you make that shift and when you make everything in your business around systems, then you can plug the right people in, you can add that capital, and your business will skyrocket. And most importantly, it'll do that exponentially without your direct effort. And that's really what you're going for when you're building an amazing business. And so if you want a business that really runs without you, if you want to work less, earn more, and have way more fun, then you need those systems. And of course, you need people leverage. Now, when it comes to people leverage, of course, my preference is virtual assistants, because that's what we do at All Star VAs. Now, not only do we hire people and staff people, that's actually the easy part. It's installing those systems, operating procedures, key performance indicators, accountability measures, and everything else that you need in your business for it to run effectively and efficiently without you. So I want to invite you to book a call by using the link down below. You can talk to our team. We'll have a game plan call, strategize, see where the gaps are in your business, and see if we can help you. If not, at least we can point you in the right direction, and I guarantee you're going to get a ton of value on that call. Now, the next thing, or the last thing you got to do, is follow YouTube's advice, because YouTube is the all-knowing, and it thinks that this video right here is the one that you got to watch next.